Consider the area under the function f of x equals e to the x power on the interval 0 to 10. Part A, estimate the area using right endpoints and 5 subintervals. This is also called R sub 5. So it would make sense to start with a diagram or a picture. And of course, you could use your calculator or you could use Desmos to graph the function. But hopefully you kind of remember what this function looks like from your college algebra days or your pre-calculus days. And we know this is just an exponential growth function, e to the x. So we know it's going to have a horizontal asymptote, and then it's going to increase like so. And this is our function, y equals e to the x power. So we want to look at the interval from 0 to 10. So we'll just pretend like 10 is somewhere over here. And we know that 0 to 10 is a distance of 10 units, but we want to divide that into 5 equal subintervals, which means that we want to have each of our subintervals have a length of 2. Or in terms of your rectangles, if you think of base times height, then 2 is basically going to be our base. You could also consider that your delta x. So our first interval is going to go from 0 over to 2. This will be the base of my first rectangle. So I like to draw the first couple to kind of get a sense of what this looks like. So if I draw the first rectangle that spans from 0 to 2, but I do a right endpoint, the right side of this interval will be 2. So I'm going to go up to my curve, y equals e to the x at 2, x equals 2, and that y value will be the height of my first rectangle. So here is my first rectangle. So I'm going to start to do my computation at the same time. So my area is going to be base times height. The base of each one of my rectangles is going to be 2 units. So I'll have a base of 2 units. And now we're going to work on determining the heights of each of our individual rectangles. So this first rectangle here, this height, remember that's a y value, and it's the y value when the input or the x value is 2. So I'm just going to write that as f of 2. I'm going to use my calculator later to actually find f of 2. I know that if I were to actually input 2, that would really be e to the second power. And you could write e to the second power if you wanted to. But again, I'm going to let my calculator do this work later. So I am not going to bother writing it as e squared right now. I'm just going to leave it as f of 2. And then I'm just going to move on to my second rectangle. So let me erase my height. My second rectangle is going to start at x equals 2, and it's going to, again, go over that base measurement of 2 units. So that would be from 2 over here to 4. I'll change colors. My second rectangle here has a base in blue from 2 to 4. That's 2 units. The right-hand side of this interval is 4, so I would go up to my curve, and whatever this y value is, when I input 4, that will be the height of my second rectangle. So my second rectangle is here. So again, this height is the y value or the output when x equals 4. So the height of that second rectangle would be f of 4. Again, it's an output. It's a y value. But we'll let the calculator do that computation in here in just a second. I'm going to draw one more rectangle. I'm not going to draw all of them. Usually once you draw the first couple, you start to establish your pattern. So my next one's going to start at 4. Go over a distance of 2, so that would mean we'd go from 4 to 6. So my third rectangle here, I'll do it in green, has a base from 4 to 6, so that again, that's a base of 2 units. The right side is going to be 6, so I'm going to use an input of x equals 6, go up to my curve, and that y value, that output, is the height of my third rectangle. So this height right there is the y value when x equals 6. So that would be f of 6. Now, we're going to end up doing this 5 times in total, and hopefully you kind of have starting to see the pattern. You could even draw a little break on your graph if you wanted to, because I'm not going to continue drawing all of them. You can see my next fourth rectangle would have a height of f of 8. And then my very last rectangle, the fifth rectangle, would have a height of f of 10. And now if you put your function f of x equals e to the x in your calculator, in your y1 on the calculator, then you can do this entire computation on your calculator in one entry, which is what I encourage you to do right now. So pause the video and practice putting this in your calculator, come back and check your answer with mine. 50,945.68 is going to be our estimate for the area underneath this curve with right endpoints and 5 subintervals. So I hope your answer matches mine. Before we move on to part B. Part B, still analyzing the same function, f of x equals e to the x, but this time we want to compute the area using midpoints. We still want to do 5 subintervals in total, but this time using midpoint estimates instead. So I'm still going to start with a graph again. You could certainly steal your graph from above, but it gets a little messy if you're drawing a new set of rectangles on your old graph. So again, rough sketch, use your calculator if you need to, but here's our graph, really rough, of y equals e to the x power. And again, we want to go a total distance, let's see, from 0, over here to 10. But like last time, I'm just going to do a little break in my graph because I'm probably not going to actually graph every single rectangle. We'll just do the first few. So the initial computation remains the same. We have this distance from 0 all the way over here to 10, which is a distance of 10 units, and we want to divide that into 5 equal subintervals. So we're still going to have a base, or a delta x, of 2 units. So our first rectangle is going to span from 0 to 2. And again, I'll use some color here. So here's the base of my first rectangle from 0 to 2. But this time we want to use a midpoint. So while the base is still 2 units, the midpoint between 0 and 2, the midpoint is going to be 1. So we're going to use x equals 1, and we're going to go up to our curve, and the y value here, the y value, or the output when x is equal to 1, is going to determine the height of that first rectangle. So what ends up happening is you have a rectangle here that has a little bit of overhang, and then on the other side of the rectangle is actually below the curve. So let's start building our computation for our area. The base is still a measurement of 2 units, but our first rectangle has a height of f of 1. Again, that's the output when x is equal to 1. Let's move on to rectangle number 2. So the next rectangle starts at x equals 2, and again, that base measurement we said has to be 2 units, so that's going to span from 2 to 4. So I'll do this one in blue. Here's the base of our first rectangle. But a midpoint estimate is going to find the middle between 2 and 4, which we know is going to be 3. We'll use x equals 3, go up to our curve, and this y value will be the height of our second rectangle. So our second rectangle as a midpoint estimate looks like this, and the height of that second rectangle is the y value when x equals 3. So we'll write that as f of 3. Let's do one more. Third rectangle, starting at x equals 4 and moving over to 6. From 4 to 6, again, is a distance of 2. So I'll do this one in green. Here's the base of my third rectangle, but the midpoint determines the height, and the middle between 4 and 6 would be 5. So if x equals 5, we go up to our curve, and the y value here is the height of this next rectangle. So this height is f of 5. And then by then, you probably noticed through the pattern, we have f of 1, f of 3, f of 5. So the next rectangle would have a height of f of 7. And then the fifth rectangle would be a height of f of 9. And once again, this whole computation should be put into your calculator as long as you have that function y equals e to the x in your y1. Then pause the video, put it in the calculator, and make sure your calculator skills are sufficient to match your answer with mine. 18,741.87 should be our estimate for the area under this curve using a midpoint estimate with 5 subintervals. Now, you might also be noticing the difference between this answer and our answer in part A. But remember, when you look at your diagram, especially in that part A example, notice that each of your rectangles had all this overhang. So we know the answer in part A was going to be a pretty big overestimate. Our answer in part B is going to be a more accurate estimate because looking at our picture, you see although we have a little overhang in each of these rectangles, we're also missing a little bit in each rectangle as well. So part B is going to be a better estimate.